few months back on this channel, I tried Everquest for the first time and ended up having a really good time with it. The only issue was, it wasn't really Everquest. And what I mean by that is, I pretty much played exclusively on the live servers, the retail version of the game. And rightly so, people commented on the video and said, hey man, glad you're having a good time, but it's not really kind of EverQuest. This isn't really what we're all enjoying. Some people do, but for the most part, people are on emulated servers or private servers. So after a few weeks of deliberation and kind of just working out the ins and outs of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to play, because for each new server, there's a different rule set, a different focus. Some are more kind of raw, released version of EverQuest focus, like Project 1999, and some like Quam seem to be more focused on just quality of life, you know, still EverQuest but kind of refreshing some of the roots, and I believe it runs on a progression server. Well, at this point I was open to both. Now if I'm being brutally honest, the only thing that stopped me playing Project 1999 was really because the memory capture question just wasn't working. I tried this thing about 150 times. I'm not even kidding. I got my wife to try it. I tried it just in case I was being an imbecile. I could not make an account. So if anyone comments and says, hey dude, play Project 1999, I will if I can actually create an account. But I'm sure at the point of recording this video, that's probably been fixed. However, for now, we are starting our proper EverQuest journey on Project Quam. Now, I just want to say right off the rip that if it wasn't for the endless amounts of guides online from the Quam team, from the content creators that play the game, I really would have struggled to find all the resources to install this game, because that's the main difficulty. When you actually download the launcher and the patcher, it's pretty self-explanatory, but trying to find all the components can be a little bit of a ball ache. So shout out to all of you that are out there making content for people like me to be able to find and enjoy the game as a whole. Now, being brutally honest, as someone that's completely brand new to the franchise for the most part, in terms of what Quam offers over and above other versions of EverQuest, that is definitely something for someone else to cover. But to me, I guess for the untrained eye, it seems to focus more on quality of life improvements, instances being added into the game. I think that's raid and guild instances, and just generally making the servers a bit more stable and a bit more up to date. I'm sure there is a lot more to it than that. I'm probably doing it a disservice, but for the most part, for the journey that I've had, as we'll play this out as the video goes on, I've had a really good time. And there were elements of playing this version of EverQuest that instantly hit me as a moment of, okay, now I see why people prefer to play a more traditional version of EverQuest than the retail live servers, because there are just actually people around. I mean, I could be completely blind to it, but I didn't really see anyone multi-boxing. I guess it was probably against the terms of service for the actual server itself. Everyone that I spoke to, or everyone that I passed, I had really good interactions with, whether that was stopping and chatting for a while, or whether it was just trading a few buffs. People even gave me money as they were passing. It was just really cool to be in this world that I've always heard such great things about, but never really had the opportunity to truly explore on a raw level. So yeah, I guess without rambling too much, I want this video to be the start of a series where I really kind of inject myself into the world of Norath, into EverQuest, and kind of try and have a true new player experience, or as new as I can possibly have. I have limited experience, as I said, with the retail version, and as far as Googling things, I'm going to try and keep the Googling to an absolute minimum unless I hit a brick wall of progression. One thing I really love about this version of EverQuest is the fact that as much as there are quality of life improvements, it's nice to not see something as trivial as a quest journal, for example. You know, I found myself, there'll be a little clip here, I'm sure, but I found myself writing things down in this hippo notepad. I don't know why it's got hippo on it. It has, but I've been writing like quests down. If I show the camera here, you guys can see this. I've actually been writing like my little quests that I get each time I speak to an NPC, because I think to myself, I've got no other way of tracking this. So if I don't write this down, then what on earth is what am I going to do? So yeah, let's get to starting out. So when I first started Project Quam, I've always been into kind of this like holy paladin-esque kind of build. To me, When I think of high fantasy, I think of the artwork of sort of good versus evil. The Paladin has always been a staple to me of a really, really cool protagonist. And what I tend to do when I play a lot of these games, I build the character from the ground up based on my wife. Might sound really sad, but that's just the way I like to play games. And she will then go out and venture the world. So we're kind of like venturing together. Might sound quite sad, but that's just who I am. So yeah, we started off, we're a Paladin. I believe we started in Freeport. And pretty much I was just going around, just chatting to everyone, just trying to explore everything, overturning every rock, checking every nook and cranny, getting used to, I guess, the fundamentals of the game. As someone who has come from typically more modern MMOs, stuff like quests seem to be a little bit, like, I guess, few and far between. I did find some, but because obviously there's no journal, you're not really tracking things unless you write them down, I didn't quite grasp how important or unimportant these things might be. So as much as I was speaking to NPCs, it was kind of hard for me to work out, right, do I need this quest? Am I going to spend hours trying to locate things on the very limited information that I've got on the map? I know back in the day, you guys didn't even have a map, so to have all these nice little quality of life touches with Quam is really, really cool. But I thought to myself, do you know what, let's just strip it back a bit. Let's not think too much. Let's just explore and just start killing things, because one thing I have learned through, research beforehand when I was playing Everquest and YouTube videos I've stumbled across is that a lot of people just go out and grind. This game is pretty much grind, you level up, you get new gear, you tackle harder content, ideally on a group basis. I don't know how much quests sort of weave into it at this stage. Okay, well, I officially have no idea what we're doing, but the music's good, the vibes are up, and I think we're just going to farm some skeletons, maybe, at least try and level up. And to be honest, I was quite surprised with grinding. I don't know if the experience on this server has been turned up a little bit, but I was soon leveling up. Hey, there we go. That's our first official level up on Project Quam. After leveling up for a little bit, I kind of remembered I had a quest to track down a soldier of some sort in a garrison. I think this guy had like turned his back on the militia or something like that. And I was like, I'm going to hunt this guy down. I'm going to kick his ass. And then I realized I kind of walked into the sort of garrison where he was and realized he was a redcon. And kind of sort of swiftly changed my mind and left. I've always been the sort of person in any MMO or game that I play that I just kind of follow my nose and just sort of explore every area, right? Because these areas, these worlds, they're built for us to go out and have fun in and explore and kind of not rush. I mean, it drives my wife insane. Every time that we play a game together, she's always like, just go. Like we're playing Silent Hill 2 together on the PlayStation right now. And she's like, just look, we've done this bit, just move on. But I can't, it's just the way my brain works. And I ended up walking into an area that I don't think I was supposed to be in. Some wacky stuff was happening, from like being met by this kind of weird atmosphere and people kind of like growling at me as I'd say, why are you here? To kind of just like random things happening, people dying and just someone flying. It was just a bit odd. Oh my god. What the hell happened here? No, why has the same guy died over and over and over again? Is there some sort of like crazy hard enemy here? Like, if someone knows the reason, please let me know, because this is wild. Okay, well, these two are not friendly at all. Is this like a really bad place? Are these not good people? Dude, what the hell is going on? The whole game so far has been fairly tame, apart from this one area. There's like 1,000 corpses. This person's walking on thin air. I am definitely way out of my comfort zone here. Having very limited knowledge with Everquest is one thing, but I was quite fortunate. Obviously, I've played some MMOs before where you have to go to class trainers to buy spells, skills, that sort of thing. So I was quite keen that I wanted to track down my Paladin trainer to ideally learn some skills, but I didn't quite account for the fact that everything would be so expensive. And then later on, I didn't account for the sort of level that I would have to be to learn some of these skills. So yeah, I was quickly disappointed. 1 gold? I don't have a gold. No. We finally found you, but you're just... Why is everything so expensive? Curse you, Oryx Nolus, whatever your name is. Before I knew it though, I was back to adventuring, just kind of exploring, follow my nose as I have been. And I kind of went back out to grind a little bit more. I thought, well, you know, if I need to get a higher level to learn some of these spells, then let's just get it over and done with. Let's just start the grind and have fun. Then I soon noticed that I had this item. It's like a potion in my inventory that I wasn't sure if it was specific to Quam. It looks like I've got sort of limited uses with it. So I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be using this or I'm supposed to not. But basically, I'm just going to use it until it's ran out and then just deal with whatever it is. But if you know what this potion is, then let me know in the comments. You receive a 50% bonus. Oh my god. Bonus XP. Oh, let's go, boys. It's so real. At this point, I was kind of getting fairly used to the combat, the cycle. You know, everything nowadays that we play is very, very fast-paced, very sort of ultra rewarding very quickly. And to be honest, to play Everquest and just sort of strip things back a little bit and slow down was actually really, really nice. But it wasn't before long that we let our guard down, and we paid the price for sure. Oh my god. Oh my god, please. No, not like this. Not like this. Guards. Oh, fuck. No. No. Well, that's how it goes. Everquest be Everquesting, I suppose. After picking ourselves back from out of the mud, it was back into grinding pretty much. And we had our first player interaction. Some really, really cool people. Shout out to anyone playing on Project Quam. You guys have all been amazing. Every interaction I've had, as I said at the start, has been super, super solid. And yeah, this is kind of how it played out. Shout out to people on this server. Honestly, people are just so damn nice, I swear. Trade? Someone's trading me? Oh my god, just gave me 10. Was that 10 platinum? Shout out to this person, honestly, like, giving me anything. I didn't expect anything at all, but as you can see, they gave me some money, so it only felt right to kind of go back and purchase some of my class abilities. Now, obviously, we said beforehand, this is hindsight coming in now. We said beforehand that we were too lower level, so I guess you'll now know how that pans out when we eventually get there. But one thing I didn't account for is just how great the soundtrack is in Everquest. For a game that is so, you know, by the by dated by modern standards, the soundtrack is iconic. It is absolutely unreal. I found myself just kind of like bobbing away in Freeport, just like this, just absolutely minding my own business, just chilling. I will absolutely die on a hill for this soundtrack, because to me, this is one of the best soundtracks I think I've heard in any video game for a while. This is wild. Oh my god. I think the longer I played, the more I kind of realized that the community, which by the way is still going really strong. I'm pretty sure at the time I logged in there was 800, 900 people on one server. But the community of people, they're just kind of happy to be here. You know, they'd rather have a positive interaction with people playing and retain that player than kind of just accept the fact that someone's new and trash talk them or point them in the wrong direction and they never play again. But everyone here, as I said before, it's just been great. Like, I've not really needed to group up yet. I'm not really kind of at that stage. We're definitely fighting mobs that are getting, you know, slightly harder. But for the most part, it's really got me looking forward to the later content where we do need to group up and the social aspect of the game really kicks in. I suppose, honestly, my only real gripe I had whilst I was playing Everquest, and I don't think this is exclusive to Quam, is just the UI. I mean, this game, I think it's been said by multiple people, it kind of feels like you're just steering a nuclear submarine the whole time. There's just so many different UI elements for certain things, and to be fair, with Quam, it does do something really, really good. It allows you to pre-install a custom UI, which is really, really nice. I can't remember which one I'm using, but there's one that's just super clean. It's the one that obviously you guys can see on screen. That just helps a lot. But even then, the chat boxes, trying to filter certain chats, just so you've not got the out of character chat or the auction chat, all kind of merging into one, it's kind of difficult. Once you get it, it's good. But I found that a lot of the overlays, like for example, for a short period of time whilst it was working, I was using the mob info screen that was like an overlay over the top of my screen, which is why you can't see anything on the right hand side. And that kind of did work and didn't work, but just trying to get everything to work in synergy was a little bit difficult. There were a lot of things that I could have predicted for 2025, but atmospheric rain and dynamic weather in Everquest was absolutely not one of them, but I was absolutely pleasantly surprised to see it because, my god, is it good. Okay, dude, that was really, really cool. It just thundered, then there was lightning, and it started raining. That was... Oh my god, dude, this is so atmospheric. What the hell? Dynamic weather in Everquest? I never would have called that. That's so, so good. So good. I'd been sat on my ass for some time at this point, so I felt it was only right to limber up and sort of stretch off in between the grinding. Straight back to the grind now, and of course there's a lot of things dropping from enemies as we kill them, and I didn't quite really know what to pick up or what to leave, but it was quite abundantly clear that I needed or wanted a new weapon, and we found an axe. The axe we picked up, put it on, and then I realized, dude, I need a bag. Like, I really need some more space. I've traveled all the way out here in the common lands and I just have no space. So we needed to fix that. I'm in desperate need of a bag. Definitely need to find someone who can sell us a bag. So I guess the next part of our quest kind of continued. This was the quest to find a bag, or at least some more inventory space. And as someone who didn't want to do an awful lot of Googling, this led to a lot of pain, a lot of walking around, and a lot of exploring. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It got me a chance to explore the world. But yeah, we spoke to a lot of NPCs. Actually, okay, mate, I just want a bag. Honestly, I'm going to be honest here, I just need a bag. The issue is when you talk to a lot of NPCs and you kind of start to get used to what they're selling and who sells what and where, you end up buying stuff that you perhaps didn't intend to set out for. And well, let's be honest, no paladin is fit without a typical sword and board combo, so this is what happened. That's quite paladin-esque. Should I buy a shield or is that a waste? How much is it? It's 1 platinum, 5 gold. I mean, I do have that. Is that the only shield we can get? Oh shit, what's this? 150 platinum. Yeah, that's a little bit out of our price range, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe this shield will do. As I was rearranging my inventory a lot more, something like inherently obvious just struck me that I was doing wrong. I thought the whole time that in order for my candle to work, it needed to be equipped. Okay, so it doesn't give you a lot of light in front of you, but it gives you some. And it turns out that's not the case. It just needs to be in your inventory. Yeah, I'm never going to live that down. As much as I was truly just happy to be out and exploring and just doing whatever, it did become very, very clear that having the map that's kind of built into Quam is a real blessing. And honestly, it does make me wonder that all of those years ago, as much as it would have been a part of the mystery and a part of the excitement, it does make me wonder how, outside of just pure memory, how does anyone get about? Because these places are massive. A lot of the assets look very similar because of the time the game came out. But yeah, you guys, I can't imagine how much you might have suffered. Speaking of suffering, it wasn't long before we felt like we were just wandering in the wrong direction and definitely getting involved in areas and mobs that we just should not at all. We spoke briefly about the atmosphere of Everquest earlier with like the dynamic lighting and the weather effects. But one thing that people just don't prepare you for is just kind of the overarching atmosphere at night of Everquest. It definitely takes a turn, that's for sure. I don't know if this is just me because I'm new to the game, but I swear no one prepares you for how scary it is traversing these areas. Especially when there's no music on, it's nighttime, you see like redcon mobs in the distance. Like, you never actually feel safe, and to be honest, you don't really get that in a lot of modern MMOs. Everything just feels fairly easygoing, whereas in Everquest, it doesn't feel like that at all. Oh my god, look at the size of that thing. There's no way. Dude, there's no way. That would absolutely wreck me. After stepping in at the deep end, I was quite adamant I just wanted to go back to town, get myself back to fairly familiar ground, and I kind of wanted to see if there was any more NPCs I could chat to take some of these quests. And one thing that I really didn't quite realize was in the game, I don't know why, I think I'd heard of this before, is sort of typing to respond to certain NPCs. Everquest is really, really cool in the sense that if a guard, an NPC says, hey, take this bread to a baker, and you kind of type in bread, that allows you to accept the quest. It's almost like you're directly interacting with that NPC rather than just clicking like a hyperlink, which is in the retail version of the game, or directly just hitting accept and your character just speaking for you. It really does do wonders to make you feel like you're kind of personified in the game. I think because of this level of like intrinsic detail, it actually led me to just wander around more than I normally would. And as much as the graphics, they are what they are. I'm not necessarily a graphic guy, but these are probably a little bit older than what I would normally like to play with, but I've kind of got used to the charm a little bit, and it's kind of made me just want to go out and appreciate the aesthetic of the game a lot more. You know, I would spend hours just wandering around aimlessly, just enjoying the experience of Everquest, seeing the kind of rustic elements of the town of Freeport and how the dynamic of what the NPCs are doing changes, and kind of seeing how the merchants are set up versus the garrison, sort of the guardhouse, and seeing just all the different areas and how they map together is really interesting. If there's anything that I have got in life, which isn't a lot, but if there is anything that I do have, it is resilience and tenacity. And damn well I was going to find this bag, and we did. We found a backpack after quite a long time walking around. I don't really want to share how long I was walking around looking for this, but we were walking, to say the least. Wait, no? We've been baited. Oh my god. Oh. Fucking backpack. Oh shit. Oh shit. It wasn't long before we were quite literally on a backpack roll. I seemed to stumble across every single NPC that I had missed before that was right under my nose when I was looking for this backpack. So yeah, fully backpacked up, loads of inventory space. We were back out into the wild to be chased by a bear. Yeah, I figured to myself, because I've got the kind of con level set as the color above the name, I thought, oh, yellow's not bad. I've been fighting loads of yellow cons. Yeah, there's kind of like hidden cons. Like some yellows are still a bit of a gamble, whilst others are a bit of a pushover, and I didn't quite realize that. So yeah, bears are bad, very bad. It was quite interesting just exploring the common lands and just kind of getting the lay of the land. Pardon the pun. But one thing I did kind of bump into or stumble across was something that I'd seen in other YouTube videos, and I think this is the trading tunnel. I think because there was a lack of auction house at the time, I think people used to just kind of gather in this sort of one area and then just spam in auction chat. So I think that's what I stumbled across. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure it was. It wasn't before long that we were back to killing skeletons. At this point, I was really into kind of the flow of the class and just trying to grind as much XP as I've got whilst I've got this potion and this buff running. But you never really truly feel safe in any of these areas, even if you are killing the easiest mobs, because there are some horrible, horrible things crawling around. And I don't know what it is about the character models, like the enemy models in this game. But the enemy models look way more updated than the landscape itself. And that's not a bad thing, because the enemy models look really, really good for the most part. In fact, in some areas they look a bit too convincing. With that being said, we swiftly moved away from that, and we actually hit level 4 for the first time. And that is level 4, ladies and gentlemen. Level 4, our first level 4 hit on Project Quam ever. Now, after a fairly decent amount of time playing, recording, getting to level 4, I felt this was like a pretty good base to just kind of park it for the time being, at least for the first episode. So if you guys enjoyed this sort of thing, do let me know. I don't know how interesting this is going to be to watch as someone who's brand new to the game. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed. Give me a thumbs up or something, or just comment Everquest. I don't really know. As always, like, subscribe, all of that rubbish, and I'll see you in the next one.